Hi, I'm Anthony with Return to Israel, here in the studio with Ezri Tubi of Boomerang Media Outlet, fighting for Israel, telling the story that is often not found in the mainstream media about all of the terrorist attacks that are taking place on a regular basis here in Israel. Ezri, I've been very impressed with your work at Boomerang. You are doing something that very few people are doing, and that is so important, to be able to inform the world about what is actually going on right here in Israel every day.
Right.
It's not in the main news, and so I'd like for you to just explain a little bit to me and our listening audiences that would be interested in knowing what is the fight that's going on here right now in Israel, and how that people being aware of what's going on can be a part of the change, of making a difference.
Well, let's start a bit with a background for Boomerang. I mean, that is what happened to me. I was sort of a hilltop youth guy. I lived in the hills of Judea and Samaria. I was disconnected from anything that happened in, politics or stuff like that. But then eventually I became a spokesman of my village, Itzal. And I understood that there's, apart from the battle with the Arabs, physical battle with the Arabs, we're fighting another big battle of the minds.
True.
And unfortunately, when it comes to the story of Judea and Samaria, nobody's there to do this fight for us. I mean, in general, Israel is fighting, this anti-Semitic, challenge and lies and bias and BDS and everything that goes around with it. But maybe some people are trying to confront that in Israel. But when it comes to Judea and Samaria, nobody even here in Israel is trying to show the story and what is happening and the facts and our connection and the fact that Jews are indigenous to Judea and Samaria. Everybody's talking about only one aspect of Israel, that we're a democracy and we have rights for everyone, which in general we are proud of being a democracy, but that's not enough for legitimizing why we're here. We can be a democracy in Uganda, like what was proposed to Herzl.
Yeah.
But why are we here? Why are we, in the land of somebody else's land, according to other people's questions? And nobody's actually answering these kind of questions, especially when it comes to Judea and Samaria, which is the cradle of the Jewish story. Here.
Yes,
it's not in
absolutely.
Haifa. It's not in Tel Aviv. It's here.
Yeah.
Every rock here has a Jewish story. Every mountain has a story.
Shiloh, El Moreh, everything.
Right.
Bethel.
And I was, watching the media and the social media also, and I was, seeing people just bluntly lying against the things that are happening here. And one day I decided to try to play try to talk in the way people talk today, by videos and showing reality. I understand that we are all holding a very powerful weapon.
Exactly.
And people are using it against us, and we should start using it back at them. So, without any experience, about 3 years ago, I started filming things, and it worked. And
It's been amazing.
yeah, it did. My first one was called Imagine, my first video. I based it on John Lennon's Imagine a World with No Religion, and I said, imagine a world where they're trying to, flying rockets at you, or they're trying to penetrate your house to murder you. This is reality. Don't paint reality from where you are, from your reality, and try to force it on us here in Israel. This is reality. Mm-hmm. This is what we're facing. And it worked, because when you show reality, I keep saying the truth is on our side. Facts on our side, right?
Exactly.
Right. We just have to know how to show it in contemporary ways, because people are spending their time today, many of their time, watching things. They are educating themselves through this little thing or through a computer. So we have to use that in order to show reality, and that's all we need to do, show reality. So I started that, and ever since that, it's been 3 years. We have been working very hard to show there's so many aspects in Judea and Samaria.
Oh, yeah.
So many things. I have a whole list of ideas that we want to show people and to connect them to the story. And there's so many people that if they see One of the reasons, ever since I got married, I grew up in a city, Netanya. I was disconnected from the story of Judea and Samaria. Even though it's the closest place, Netanya to Judea and Samaria is 15-minute drive.
Yeah,
it's
very
the narrowest
close.
place. For me, the Judea and Samaria didn't exist. As an Israeli, I didn't even know nothing about the story of Judea. But ever since it's an interesting story how I arrived here for the first time. But ever since I arrived here, I got married, and ever since we have been living only in Judea and Samaria. And I keep saying, for me, it's a privilege to live next to the settlers. I admire these people.
Yes,
I totally admire these
are the brave
people, brave and moral and humble and honest and loving and passionate and they also know how to be, nekama. How do you say nekama? They know how to fight back. They know how to punch back as well. They're not spineless. If they need. So we've been living here in order to absorb from. As that's the way I look at it. I'm here in Judea and Samaria to absorb from these beautiful people.
Sure,
I want to absorb from, and just showing the humanly story of these people to people around the world.
Yes, that's the important point.
That's incredible.
We're real people. This is a real situation.
Not only are we normal people, but in some sense, the people here are unnormal. The way they
Very
live,
special.
the way the sacrifices they're willing to do, the deep faith they have.
Yes, they embrace
It's
Torah.
almost
and the Word of
impossible
God,
to
yes.
find this kind. And facing all of these difficulties, this group of people is still good-hearted. We're always facing terror. That's one of the things I try to show around the world.
Right.
The immense amount of
Needs
terror,
to be told,
weekly terror again. But they haven't become rough and frustrated and
Embittered
right, embittered. They still full of belief and full of happiness. And you say, how could it be?
Yeah.
Anywhere else in the world, people that would have gone through what people living here in Judea and Samaria, they would have, started behaving like madmen.